This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Profitability Movement. Google Profitability-Movement to join this community of business owners focused on building profit, increasing wealth, and giving back. Thank you for joining us. Here's how we will help your business and you today. How would you like to be unstoppable in business and life? My guest today, Jonathan Page, an attorney in an entrepreneur's body, which we have to find out the meaning behind this, will give you tools, a framework, and mindset shifts. You'll also hear about Jonathan's BOR framework to help you become unstoppable. Jonathan, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Hey, Ruth, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, curiosity killed the cat. What is an attorney in an entrepreneur's body mean? I assume you went to law school.
I went to law school. I was looking at MBAs, law degrees. Really, I just wanted to be an entrepreneur and thought law school would be a great way to get some business education. And found out, because I was attracted to all the business courses, found out that, hey, maybe this would be fun actually being a lawyer when I graduate. So went and worked for a mid-sized firm specializing in complex legal transactions. Was one of the attorneys that represented surety companies, which is similar to insurance. A lot of contractors have to deal with surety if they're doing a government job.
Sure.
Got to get payment bonds or performance bonds. And so we represented in some pretty complex situations those companies. And but had this entrepreneurial bug, had been in an entrepreneurial family. My dad had scaled up two businesses in Georgia and exited them both successfully. And so every weekend when I would come home for Sunday dinner, my dad would team up with my wife and they were, when are you going to open your own business? And they finally got to me, and that's exactly what I did, was branch out on my own and start a legal services firm.
Okay. And then the legal services firm turned into really understanding and knowing what it takes to be unstoppable, correct?
Absolutely. So legal services are critical to every business, especially contracting businesses. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing the sort of things that you need to do to make your business successful, the legal services don't have any meaning to you. Right.
Correct.
So I think there's this, we represent lots of big contractors. North Cobb Electrical Service, for example, is one of our big clients. They're a huge electrical service company here in Georgia. Omega Construction, we've got a whole list of them. And the ones that we see that are successful have a very definitive goal. They are trying to scale their company to a certain size, or they're trying to expand their reach through a certain market. And they're very specific about what it is they want to achieve. And then they are willing to fail forward. No one's going to hand them an instruction manual. No one's going to give them the plans and specifications that they need to follow to achieve what they want to achieve. They're going to have to decide to achieve it. And after making that decision, they're going to have to take action. And when they take action, they're either going to take the wrong action or the right action. And many times it's going to be the wrong action. But if they're learning from that, they're failing forward. And if you look at any great entrepreneur, Elon Musk, Phil Knight, who was the founder of Nike, he's got a great book, a memoir, Shoe Dog.
Yeah, that's good.
Richard Branson has written tons of memoirs. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, even the entrepreneurs of the Industrial Revolution, Henry Ford, J.P. Morgan, Carnegie, Rockefeller, all of these guys had more mistakes and more failures on their way to the top than they had successes. And if you took away those failures, they would have never achieved what they set out to achieve. But the reason they were unstoppable is because they refused to stop. They just kept going.
Yeah, and they've refused to quit, and it's a mindset. It's absolutely, at least from my perspective, it's a mindset. And when you talk about, being unstoppable, it is in your head.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole world is just a perception. If you read some of these great books, Think and Grow Rich, Your Greatest Power, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, Pritchett, all of these guys. Ultimately, you could put 1,000 people in the same circumstances, exact same circumstances, and they're going to all have 1,000 different experiences. What's different? I mean, it's the same circumstances. Why are there 1,000 different experiences? Because they're all thinking about those circumstances differently. It's all goes back to what you're thinking and how you're choosing to look at the experience. For one person, if they're trying to run your business, they may find it to be a terrible experience because they're not an entrepreneur. They don't, they're not built that way. But, somebody who is running a business, who has a passion for what they're doing, even though they make mistakes and even though there's these, hurdles they have to overcome, they still get joy out of it each and every day because they know they're fulfilling their purpose and they're making a contribution to the world.
Yeah, it's. I think as we age, and I'm probably going to date myself here. I think when I was in my 30s, I didn't look at the world this way. But now that all this stuff has happened, that you look at things that go on now and say, okay, what's the lesson? What am I supposed to learn? Let's go.
Yeah, a good mentor of mine told me there's no problems in life. There are only situations that you have to deal with.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking with contractors who are your clients, or when you're talking with somebody who's not a contractor who's your client, how do you know whether they have the mindset to succeed? Or is it a test they can take, or is it just something that is in your gut?
So it really is going to be an attitude of just not stopping. And again, if you go back, like I'm in the middle of the Shoe Dog memoir by Phil Knight. He was a very kind of nervous, shy person. I mean, that's why he's not heavily in the news, the founder and CEO of Nike. But if you read it closely, you could see he was just determined to achieve what he wanted to achieve. Despite how shy he was, despite how he felt like he wasn't good at sales, he was just determined. And that determination comes through when you're talking with the client across the table, when you're kind of going through what is their business strategy, how can legal support that. What I've noticed, or I think is what we consider the worst kept secret. It's the worst kept secret because every single mindset book tells you to do this, though few people do it, is to write it down what it is you want to achieve, what your big dream is, what your big goal is. Write it down every day. And the reason you write it down is because it needs to be a dominating thought.
Yeah.
If you don't write it down, you've got 6,000 other thoughts you're probably going to have that day that are going to compete with what it is you want to achieve. But you write it down, and then you make a commitment in writing to some action that will advance you towards that goal. Even if the commitment is going to take you 2 minutes, it's by taking action every single day towards the advancement of the thing that you desire that will make it a dominating thought. And then, as these books will explain, will bring the universe to show you how to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. It's like oftentimes everything you need to achieve what you want to achieve already exists. It's just that you don't see it because your brain hasn't been calibrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
As soon as you calibrate your brain correctly, then you start seeing opportunities you didn't even know were there.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We need to take a break. So if somebody wants to contact you, how do they do it? What's the best way for them to contact you?
So you can go to our website, inprimelegal.com, INP as in Paul, R as in Roger, I, M as in Mom, E, legal.com. And then after the break, we can talk about the side venture that we're starting and how we're going to make legal even more accessible to contractors.
Very good. All right. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Are you one of the contractors who enjoys getting and analyzing your financial statements each month? If not, it's probably because you haven't taken the time to discover what your profit and loss statement and balance sheet are telling you. And you probably are not making good business decisions based on timely, accurate financial statements. You know you have to do something about this, but where do you turn? Ruth King's Makes Your Financial Statements Fun and Sexy online course. These easy to understand 4 sessions explain financial statements in English rather than accounting babble. You'll discover what your financial statements mean and how to analyze them each month. Then you'll have the info you need to spot minor issues and take care of them before they become major crises and run you out of cash. Enroll today. Click on the link in the show notes or call us at 770-729-0258.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I am speaking with Jonathan Page, an attorney in an entrepreneur's body. And before the break, we started talking about mindset and being determined and making sure that, you have a purpose in life and those types of things. So you teased us, with the BOR concept and some of the other things that you're doing. So let's get going. Let's talk about BOR for a second. What is it?
So several of our clients who we worked with on a regular basis approached me about doing something even more. We've got these great clients. Why don't we bring them together in sort of a mastermind fashion to discuss business, to deal with issues, to learn together, to grow their businesses together? And out of that, we created a mastermind group called BOR. BOR stands for Business Owners Achieving Results. And a boar is the most relentless animal on earth. Mm-hmm. So we created this mastermind group, and it was just wildly successful. And several of the members, who had started with us kind of early on, as receiving legal services, today are exiting their businesses for, over $100 million. Like, there's been some massive success through that group. And it was teaching these principles. It was getting definite with what it is you want to achieve with your business. We say align your give. Aligning your give means that if you want to achieve X, you have to make an exchange. You got to make an exchange with the world. If you look at anyone who's achieved big things, there was some way that they wanted to benefit the world, to benefit their customers, to increase the lives of others. And that exchange is really, really critical. So you have to think through, like, how am I contributing to the world in order for me to receive what I want to receive? And then the last piece of that, which we call Be the Boar, is being absolutely relentless about achieving your goal. And obviously being smart about it, fail fast, fail forward. And we talk about tactics and strategies in order to do that. And then we support each other through that. So as people are dealing with issues, we help them process those issues and come up, using the strategies that we talk about. So that's where BOR came from. It was sort of completing a puzzle piece for us, understanding that, our clients didn't go into business to procure legal services. It's not.
Oh, come on.
Not when they're at home, talking to their spouses. Oh, I really just want to hire somebody to do an operating agreement for me. They went into business to make a mark, to, create a lifestyle, to get fulfillment. And we want to be part of that too. And so BOR has allowed us to sort of align our legal strategy with their business goals in a way that helps them scale faster and scale with confidence.
Yeah, that's really important. Now, being the financial person that I have, does the group review their financial statements? And this is a personal question, okay?
So yes, by and far, many of the members in the group, they've got companies that are $500 million in revenue.
Yeah,
so
they review them. Yeah,
finance teams that are looking that over. But with that said, it is interesting. Like, we've got one member of the group has, I think they're about 170 million in revenue, and he's the CEO, founder, and recently said, I really want to get better educated about our financial statements. I've got all this finance team, but I don't really understand what they're telling me. So he's been reading books and taking courses so that he can get better at become more financially intelligent. And we've been talking about that. It's one of his professional goals. We all do goal setting. We pick a few goals, and personal, professional, and work that we feel would be huge if we could achieve that this year. And that was one of his professional goals.
So all he has to do is read The Courage to be Profitable, which is the book I wrote in English that explains P&Ls and balance sheets and all the financial things he needs to know. So
right now,
I'll give it to you after we get off. All right. So that's BOR. Now, what else are you doing to help your clients that's not legal?
So we So we realized that there are many issues with the legal industry, and the legal industry tends to be kind of the least innovative of all the different industries. One big issue is that they bill by the hour. And although that's great for the lawyers, it's not always that great for the clients. They're getting surprise law bills. There's no incentive to be efficient. So literally, if I could create a piece of software that would draft a contract in, 2 minutes, and then all the lawyer had to do was just, review it, maybe make some revisions, but that meant spending 30 minutes. No big law firm's going to want to purchase that software.
No, of course not.
Hit any of the metrics. They've got to make sure their associates are billing 2,000 hours a year. So we've seen this. We're in the industry, and so we decided to build something we call Contract Sprint that delivers custom legal documents in minutes. So as opposed to like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer, which are just generic, and generics almost never good for a business because your specific interests are going to be different than other businesses. This actually simulates an attorney consultation, identifies risk points, and then drafts the contract differently depending on how you're positioned in the deal or what your specific business interests are. So we've got a prototype or a beta at contractsprint.com, but we're in the process of building out even a more robust software. Eventually, hopefully, that will have some Chat GPT, if you're familiar with that, integrated with it. So we'll definitely be on that bandwagon. But that's a really exciting venture. And if you use the word courage, you will get a 90% discount on any of the documents we've got available on that. So courage based on your book, and that would be the discount code anyone would put in, and they would get a 90% discount just to try out the software. Literally, they'd get a document that we would normally charge for $2,000 or $3,000. They'll get it for a few dollars.
That's pretty good. So we'll put that in the notes too, so that we've got that for them too. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So we have just a little bit of time left. So parting comments, parting thoughts about, where to take a business, how to be unstoppable.
Start now. My dad, when I was young, I was early 20s. I was at a growth conference with my aunt, and she told me this story about my dad. He had this burning desire to go to college. He approached his father, we called him Papa, and just simply asked for the application fee. I don't know how much it was, maybe $10 or $15. He didn't have any money. And Papa told him, "You're too stupid. You're too stupid to go to college." And that one conversation cost my dad until he was 43 to finally have the courage to open and operate his own business. And that's why I've been so successful, is because my dad did not want that for me. He didn't want me to defer my big dream, to put it off. He wanted me to have it as soon as I could have it. He wanted me to start my business right away. So, I think of him and I think of that conversation, and it makes me really want to encourage, anyone who's listening, that if you've got a big idea, or if there's some big venture, or if you've got a small company today, but you've always dreamed of growing it big, start now. Don't put it off. Don't wait. Start now.
Cool. Very good. Jonathan, give us the website again.
It's contractsprint.com is where you can get legal documents and avoid the attorney and get them custom. Contractsprint.com. And then if you want to get an actual business attorney, we're happy to help you, though you will get one through Contract Sprint, by the way, because we look at every single submission. But that's inprimelegal.com.
Sounds great. Jonathan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Ruth. Appreciate you.
And thank you all for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money, too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.